Is okay. Welcome everyone. Good to have you here. It's gonna be another Elliott wave session, especially focused on the lower time frame today. And other than that, there's not a lot of news, so there's enough room for Q&A and some chatting, right? Because there's not a lot of new stuff. Compared to yesterday, we rejected at the resistance, which is nice. Very nice. So, touched our box. Beautiful rejection. So, very good. Supported by bearish CVDs as well, by the way, yesterday. You can see here the... let me do it like this. So, bearish CVDs, more bearish CVDs. That was overnight for me. But a solid move at resistance, which is peak example of why you don't long into resistance, which I suppose I repeated 10 times plus in yesterday's stream. Obviously saying no financial advice, but this is why you don't, you know. Yo, we got a new, we got a, what's the thing my wife got? A NutriBullet, like a mixer thing. She made a smoothie today. Very nice. Very, very nice. Banana, all sorts of stuff in there. I don't know. I gotta ask her what's in there, but I drink it. So the atmosphere feels indecision and a potential breakout. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the local move to the downside very soon. And I have shared ideas earlier this morning. Of course, not on YouTube, but that's why we're live here. So we're going to mainly be talking about this structure. Because that is what's most interesting, right? Corrective or impulsive. And that gives you the probabilities of continuation up or moves to the downside. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Legendario, welcome. Maybe a Band-Aid. How you doing, dude? Good to have you here. Admin, Andre, I'm doing good. Thank you, Legendario. So far, a good day. Nice early morning. I got my morning routine in. Did my analysis in the morning as well. Some updates in silver. Went to the gym. Had a meeting with Jeroen for 2 hours with regards to a new project. And lunch, I had the biggest lunch. I gotta eat. I just gotta eat a lot more if I want to grow. So I had a really big lunch. Now I got the smoothie stuff as well. Gonna have a shake later. Maybe some more food and dinner in between and dinner later. So yeah, no, it's a good day. It's a good day. Leon, welcome. Versin, I feel that your analysis will help me today. Hopefully it does. That's why we're here. Of course, like last time, no financial advice. But hopefully it helps you in your trading nonetheless. Maybe with decision making. Maybe you learn some Elliott waves. How are you guys doing? How's your day? How's your week been so far? We're in the middle, right, of the work week. Even though weekends for some will be work. But hopefully you're doing good so far. Friday should be very interesting. On Friday we have some high impact news. So I don't know, like today here, Wednesday, right, March 26th, that's tomorrow. Whoa, I'm with my head on, like, in Wednesday. What's up? It's Tuesday. I just look at my top right screen. It's Tuesday. It's not Wednesday. The week just started. Nonetheless, how's your week so far? Your first 1.5 day. But yeah, a little bit of news. This might be a bit more volatile on Thursday, but I would personally expect most of the volatility on Friday, to be honest. Don't really think on Wednesday this is gonna be too like interesting. I think Thursday, especially Friday, are gonna be more interesting. What you doing, or how you doing, Tino? How's it going? Doing good, thanks. Mia Mania reviewed parts of your stream yesterday. Passionate Swiss freerider here. Yo, freerider. Yeah, man, free riding requires very big balls. That's probably why those people just go off the mountain so fast. Like, incredible. incredible. The cliffs, the jumps, the tricks. It's insane. I haven't yet done any free riding in my snowboarding experiences, trips, my skiing holidays. So I've always been on the mountain. I do a little bit of off-piste in between the slopes, right? Where there's sections where you off-piste and stuff. That's fun. And in Kapoen, there is some rocks and some small cliffs and stuff, but it's nothing noteworthy. And generally, I try to avoid those. But when there is powder, I do really enjoy going to the powder. I don't have a powder board, but it's I don't need it. I'll still float. I'll still float. So I'm like a one board Andy, basically. Bulent Ozdemir, welcome. Good to have you here. Mia Mania, by the way, makes me think. What board do you have? Do you have a directional powder board for free riding, or a more stiffer, like twin tip or directional twin? I'm curious now. John, what's up? Good morning. Mukandusi, Kaptein, welcome. No joke. Our smoothies aren't that good because the fiber's good soy, so your gut doesn't have to work so much and you get weaker. Yeah. That is true. But the fact that some of the fibers, of course, get broken doesn't mean that the content of what a smoothie can be, right? There's a lot of stuff in this smoothie. Can still be healthy. Another thing is, of course, don't put too much fruit in a smoothie because it's very easy to get too much fruit sugars in your body. If you dump in a couple of bananas, not one, but multiple, right? In a smoothie, you don't notice you're actually eating 3, 4, 5 bananas, right? Because it's all reduced to pop, basically. But it's better to eat, right? Better to eat. But yeah, it's about the whole thing. Power Meat, what's up? Abdullason, I'm doing good, thanks. BTC Boss, what's up? Tino, ik ga doorgaan met je mee op de snowboard Elliott Wave vakantie doen wanneer de bear market is begonnen. So basically, BTC Boss says, I happily go with you on a snowboard Elliott Wave holiday. We have to do it when the bear market has started, so everyone has some cash. Yeah, I'm interested in organizing it now. Alex should join. I mean, Alex lives in Canada. I mean, he knows the mountains. Yo, Alex, how are you doing? How's your family? How's your kid? How's life with the little one? Are you doing good? Alex Crypto, proud daddy since last year, as well as a married man since last year as well. It all happened so quick, but he's still here, walking on 2 feet, hopefully sitting in front of his screen, making YouTube videos. In case you don't know Mr. Alex Crypto, let me go to his channel. Great guy, right? And growing very quick, by the way. Holy shit, dude. The last time I saw your channel, you were at like, what, 7K? That's incredible. You've done some very, very good things to your channel, man. Congrats. That's very nice. Keep it up. Almost 1,000 videos as well. What a guy. Almost 1,000 videos. I mean, little kid, wifey, and a growing YouTube channel. What do you want more? What do you want more? Too blessed to be stressed. That's a good mindset to have. Huh? That's a good mindset. Phil, welcome. Rudy, have a great job related to Amstelveen. Traffic was a nightmare. Made it back home alive. Good you're back, Rudy. Rudy, everyone has his own business in transport in Belgium. But welcome back in Belgium then, Rudy. I'm a skier, free ride skis. I see. Okay. Free ride 7. I'm a lot in the mountain with my snowboard fellows. Freaky powder days getting rare though. Yeah. Well, groomers and stuff is also nice. The park is also nice. Gotta get the fun somewhere else. But yeah, I love the mountain. Very peaceful. Beer a bit, how you doing? Meow Fish, what's up? Oh, just want to let you might as well hop over today. How you doing, Meow Fish? Thanks for popping in, eh? Thanks for popping in. Tino, by the way, shorted at 88,100. So then you had this move to the downside. That's very nice indeed. It's a solid move. Hopefully you managed it well. On a snowboard. Good number of years on snowboard experience. I'm from Tilburg, by the way. Oh, yeah. Speak Dutch, of course. But no, I mean, skiing, snowboarding, both work as long as you get down the mountain safely. and have some fun doing it. To play you 1v1 Halo 2. Hey, I will play Halo 2 on a PC, but not with a controller. I suck. I suck on a controller. Okay, we're gonna start the analysis. $1 million would be nice too. Rahul, welcome. You're from Belgium? No, I'm from the Netherlands and France. I have a double nationality. Currently living in France, though, south of France. So, Werners, welcome. I thought you were a Dutchie. I am. Ik ben Nederlands, jongens. Ik ben Nederlands. Ik ben niet Belgisch. No. And I'm also French. But I'm raised in the Netherlands. I am raised with only one main language, which is Dutch. I've not been raised in two languages, unfortunately, but it's not actually really my parents' fault. It's not a fault anyway, by the way. It's just a choice. But it's mainly because of my primary school teacher, or even before primary school, like the crash, right? Like the teacher before primary school. They said better not to do it. And my mom was learning Dutch at the time, which was tricky for her. So she was like, yeah, okay, I'll get it. Learn Dutch. So, but hey, I'm learning French now. Pennsylvania, Hudson Hall, welcome. Good to have you here from the other side of the world. Sean, what's up? Okay, let's start. We're only gonna really cover this section, and if there's any questions, I of course will zoom out. But locally, yesterday, price was touching resistance, right? And of course, it's interesting to look for a continuation to the upside if you flip the resistance, preferably with some bullish CVDs, which did not happen. We rejected at resistance. And also I mentioned in the live stream yesterday that the bullish CVDs that are printed here are not interesting, right? They're not interesting. Why? You're at resistance, right? First of all, you're below resistance, not above resistance, number one. Second, as we are at resistance, people tend to sell. What CVD shows is market sell and market buy orders. Now, people that are selling into resistance, getting rid of their positions, right? You will see that as the CVD line moving down, which can create leading CVD, which is price moves to the downside, even though there's bullish CVD, price actually moves down, not moves up. So when you're at resistance, of course, with CVD, it's a lot more interesting to look for bearish CVDs compared to bullish CVDs, which is what we had here, bearish CVDs, right? More bearish CVDs. This was overnight for me. From a trading perspective, this was the best in my, so for I guess like something that works more with my style, this would have been the best setup because price here, bearish CVDs after breaking the low of the range, right? So price here, let me see, yeah. So we break the range over here, and then we have bearish CVDs, right? That creates a very, very interesting setup. But in my time, it was 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And of course, I am asleep at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So I woke up when price was, down here, basically. And as price was ranging down here, I'll just show you my train of thought of this morning. For the silver members here, you've seen it, of course, this morning. But basically, what I had on my chart earlier today was I had this on my chart. And if you follow my chart, by the way, which you can, sharing is on, you can find my chart by going to the link tree in the description. Click on Koen's chart. And you will be able to see everything I do. So every little drawing, every bit of analysis, whenever I analyze the chart, if I put target boxes on or off or whatever, you see everything I do as long as it's turned on, which most of the cases it is turned on. So I know some of you have my chart on all the time, so you'll see what I do. And if I analyze the chart or come up with new Elliott wave scenarios, you can see me counting live, even though I don't talk about it. Right? Because you only see this window and that's it. But you can still see the process, I suppose. But this morning I had these two on my chart. And both of these work as a wave 4 in validation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5, right? In validation, 618 taken from the low of 2 to the high of your 3. No? And then locally, that was the big question. So is this move down impulsive or corrective? If this is corrective, probabilities are higher for price to take out the high. So it's interesting to look for price to move up. If this, however, is impulsive, we have to be aware of at least another move down, either an A, B, C, and then go back up. And then we know it's corrective by breaking the high. Or 1, 2, and down you go in a wave 3. And then we just look for lower prices to come. No? Now, if we look at this is the 15-minute time frame, right? Low time frame. But if we look at this structure to the downside, then preferably, in order to count this as a solid impulse down, right? So impulsive structures are easier to count than corrective structures. So generally, it's easier that if a move happens to know, okay, can this be an impulse? Yes or no? Wait for wave 4. Impulse, diagonal, multi 1, 2, those are the easiest to invalidate. So anyway, we have a move down, initial structure down. We get a bit of a range, right? Potentially here, another 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Or 1, 2, 1, 2, but I would at least count a double in here. We move to the downside. Now, you can also see that we do have overlap between these lows and this one over here, which means that we do not like to count this as a wave 4 compared to this being a wave 2. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 low probabilities, right? Because there's 2, 4 overlap, and it's a strong guideline that 2 and 4 should not overlap. It is a rule, by the way, but it doesn't really matter if this is the low of a wave 1. Wave 1 and 4 are not allowed to overlap in an impulse. That's a rule, not a guideline. But a strong guideline, as per Elliott Wave International, is no 2, 4 overlap. Reduces probabilities. So in other words, makes more sense if you look for an impulse to have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. But then, where's the 4, 5? No, we have quite a sizable range here, and at no moment in time did we see another range that can be compared to what we have here in time. I can take a fib time from this to that, and then you can see usually wave 4 is similar in time or longer in time, but none of these are actually similar in time. This is the 1 to 1, so equal between 2 and 4s. If I put on the 382, then you can see here, and now I put it on this is the high of this range, right? Then you can see that this one is finished behind the 382, but as mentioned, the problem is the overlap. So that doesn't really work nicely. And then second, you would need to do this. And then we can see it finishes on this candle, which is one candle before this low was taken. And this has to then be a corrective structure, which is shorter, quite a lot shorter than your wave 2. I should go to a 5-minute. I don't really like to go to too low time frames. A, B, D. Yeah, so in that case, you would need A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, right? And then eventually continuation to the downside. It just doesn't look as good. That's basically what we are saying, right? Move to the downside, impulsive or corrective. It looks better as some sort of A, B, and a C to the downside, no? A, B, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? Where this range and this range is matching this range and that range, not this one. So putting everything together, price moved up. We did not see a wave 4 similar in size compared to the 2. Lowering probabilities, this is an impulse. Increasing probabilities, this is a 3-wave corrective structure, which then increases probabilities that whatever is happening here is corrective, and you still look for price to take the high. Now, give this with a side note, by the way, because if we look for a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, where this is 4, you take a fib time from the start of 2 to the end of 2 to the end of your 3. Most commonly, a wave 4 finishes after like similar in size, right? Wave 4 usually similar in size or longer than a wave 2. This low clearly is made before the 1-to-1 fib time, right? So this is shorter than this, while usually or more commonly wave 4 is similar, if not longer in time. In other words, ends around the 1-to-1 or after the 1-to-1. So preferably, we see this. Let me get the picture here. Can I open the link? Yes. There you go. So in the, I suppose, bullish scenario, looking for more upside, it would be nicer. This is posted in silver. When was this? Around 4 p.m., which is like an hour ago. It would be nicer for price to come back down or at least continue this range sideways, of course, without touching the 618, as the 618 invalidates a wave 4. Right? So preferably we just continue here and then eventually go up and take out the high. If price does take out this 618, wave 4 invalidated, which means I do already have other ideas in case that happens, but let's just wait because probabilities are not yet on the side for that to happen. And if we do get close, touch the 618, then I already have some other ideas on what's going on. But yeah, so that is the highest probability at the moment locally is corrective structure seemingly here. And looking for a corrective range, preferably one that takes longer than what we have at the moment. Now, if the move down is counted as a zigzag, meaning ABC, in order to get a deep move to the downside, if we are looking for a correction that is a deep correction, right, then we have to think about a double zigzag. ABC, correction, ABC. However, wave X touched the 0.7, which therefore significantly decreases double zigzag probabilities here on the 15-minute time frame. So low probabilities for a double zigzag. That's what we are saying. If you do move impulsively to the downside, consider 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Low probabilities. Why? Second wave 1 is much longer than the first wave 1, both in time and price. Second wave 2, much larger in time and price than the first wave 2, right? So if you do come back down here, I will start considering diagonals or another bigger 1, 2, which would be very bullish, by the way. But that's not yet. It's not yet too interesting to cover that stuff, right? So yeah, that is what's going on. That's what's going on locally, yeah. No, other than that, pretty nice. Price did not yet touch this 886. I think we're getting close, but no cigar. Touch this, and also multi-1-2 is already very low probabilities. Touch the 886, even lower. And yeah, would be nice to continue this range. Let's see how it works with news. Tomorrow, 1:30, Thursday. Let's put a fib time on the chart and see how it compares with some events and some expected volatility later. So we are currently around the 1-to-1, meaning wave 2 is as long as wave 4, or 4 similar to 2, I should say. The 2 here is at 7 p.m. tomorrow. The 3 is 27th of March and the 4, 28th. So basically, a wave 4, right? You don't want a wave 4 to go to the 5 fib time. That would be very long, right? Very, very long. It's much nicer if a wave 4 finishes between a 1 and 3, 4, allow it, go to the 5, low probabilities. You don't want to see it. 4 probabilities start to decrease. So we definitely have some room to play with also in relation to some of the events here. So we might as well possibly just continue ranging till even Thursday, 1:30. A lot happens still. We still have a full day on Wednesday with a little bit of news, but yeah, would be nice to continue a range, but probabilities are higher at the moment to take out the high due to this move being a higher probability zigzag. A zigzag can be part of a bigger structure, like a triangle, like a flat, like a W, X, and a Y, right? It can lead to a lot of different things. We just know probability is higher to take out the high, and it would be nicer from a time perspective if this takes a bit more time. And yeah, if price high now, like looking at some of the resistances. Oh, hey, we hit resistance at the moment, by the way. The point of control here. So these are from yesterday. Oh, very nice. So I actually didn't look at this the rest of the day. I put it on my chart this morning and I completely forgot about it. But yeah, I mean, it's still the box. These are just new point of controls. So the first one is touch. But yeah, if you do take out the high here, 90.3K is a next area of resistance. And above that, we move into 92.5 to 93.4, which is the next box that I have on my chart. So the boxes are generally more important. There's more confluences at the boxes. So it's quite interesting that I don't really have a lot going on here with regards to horizontals. There is a support resistance level, but as you can see, it's very empty in a way. The only thing I saw this morning is if we just use very simplistic technical analysis, then if you just pull a box here, then you can see that this box is actually quite nicely respected. Support, resistance, 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 support, support, resistance, question mark, right? I mean, at least resistance, support. So it has actually played quite an active role in this range. That's the one thing I found when price was at the low here. But I don't really have any horizontals. I do expect this to change though, because after today we may have a daily naked point of control, of course, and you can always put a volume profile on your chart as well. Let me do it like that. So, you know, it's always interesting to have these on the chart, but you can only really use these once a bit of a range forms. You get some more information. But yeah, I don't have any of the classic levels, right? This is what I have. So, yeah. And then some of the point of controls. The red point of controls, by the way, come from the PVP indicator, right? PVP. You can just find it in the indicators list. Put it on day or week, right? For daily or weekly point of controls that have not yet been touched using PVP. Or the market sessions and volume profile indicator by Leviathan. Right, same here. Put it either on daily or weekly. At least that's the two that I use. So, and that's where the red lines come from. Red lines come from there. Blue lines come from Atas. Daily naked point of controls coming from Atas. And somehow this one is red, which... Why is it red? I'm going to move it up. Ta-da. Right. So the blue ones, Atas is a free software in case you're in, only working in crypto. It's free for crypto. And then we have yellow and purple for weekly and monthly. So, and these are also from Atas. So, you can find them without Atas, though. You can use these two indicators as well, but I like to use Atas for those. So yeah, I mean, that's basically the Elliott wave analysis. It's all about like this area over here. Currently, of course, at resistance. So would be nice to, of course, flip it, some bullish CVDs, and then look for the resistances higher. But yeah, we covered the move, covered the why, covered the probabilities. Chatting and Q&A up next, I suppose, no? So probabilities, by the way, on a 4-hour time frame haven't changed. But yeah, so bullish scenario, alternative, bearish scenario, higher probabilities as long as you don't get a 5-wave impulse up. Like for the bulls really need strength. This is, you need poof, like boom, quick. Maybe Friday, who knows? But at the moment, as long as you don't get that and move above 95, the bearish scenarios on the 4-hour have higher probabilities. Doesn't mean one can't go long on a 1 hour, 15-minute time frame and still make use of the move. But 4-hour probabilities will change after the 1 hour changes, after the 50-minute changes, right? So low time frame probabilities always change first. Then the higher time frames follow later as more information comes in. That's when the time frame changes. So the 4-hour for me is generally more swing trading, right? And with regards to swing trading, what I am interested in is if we do get this, not highest probabilities, but of course the bulls get higher probabilities if we take 95K, which means that retracements after become very interesting for some more swingy longs, but especially if you get a bigger 3 down. This is something I'm very interested in. That's potential swing setup that I look for. Will take probably a long time, maybe another month easy before that happens if you do go up. Why? Well, these ranges 4s tend to be longer than your wave 2s. If you can see how long this has taken, you can imagine how long this can take in time, right? So it will take a while, need another move down, which has to be a corrective structure. Corrections can take pretty long as well. So yeah, still looking for bearish scenarios unless we get that move up. And that's when the probabilities on the 4-hour change to bulls. At the moment, whenever I go long, I manage it very strictly, very tightly, because I'm not looking for swings in this area. That's a personal choice. I'm not comfortable trying to swing in a downtrend. Probabilities, triangle, diagonal remain higher unless you take out that high. And then my probabilities, or actually Elliott wave probabilities, change. So, yeah. Very nice. If you want to see it in a bit more detail, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You could still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a bit of a longer 5 and then start 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Or count another 1, 2. But that's too bullish. I don't really want to go that way. I'm not a how do you call it? I'm not a moon boy. I'm also not a drama queen. I just trade whatever the chart gives me. Very neutral, not caring about 100K, not caring about 50K. Just the chart tells the story, right? And then we just take it as it comes. And currently on a 50-minute time frame, as explained earlier in the analysis, probabilities are higher. This is corrective as a zigzag. As per the Ys can be found earlier in the live stream, probabilities increase for price to take the high. However, it would be nice to get this as per posted this morning in Discord because of time. So it would be nice to continue the range a little bit longer. Ooh. Man, that's good. Love smoothies. So, okay. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. So pretty much done with the analysis now. I actually forgot how late we started with the analysis. Probably around like 15-20 minutes, but can't be online too long today because of other appointments and busy planning today. But we definitely have some time for some questions and stuff. So Leon, are you planning to go on a Formula One weekend again this year? Are you planning to the season looks very promising. So last year I've been to Spa before. Last year I did Zandvoort and what's the other one? Zandvoort and the Temple of Speed. Why do I know the temple? What? Monza? Whoa, hello, good morning. So I went to Monza last year. I went to Zandvoort last year as well. And I haven't planned anything yet with regards to... wait. Okay, no, it's a good webcam. I haven't planned anything with regards to Formula One at the moment. So yeah, as you can hear, usually I go in the second part of the season, not really the first part of the season, if anything, and it depends on life as well. You know, it's like some of the races are not far away. Like for us, Zandvoort is close, and of course Italy is around the corner. It's easy for us to travel to these areas. Would be nice to go away further and do maybe a race in the US or yeah, you know, beginning of the season is like a lot of Asia, but well, we'll see. I don't really have anything planned. How about yourself, Leon? Do you go anywhere? What about the volume? Looks wonky for an impulse to the downside. Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, probabilities are higher. It's corrective at the moment, ABC, which could work with the volume. However, don't be faked out by volume. When we talk about an impulse, right? You know, a wave one from a psychology point of view tends to be the sucker's rally, no? So you're in a downtrend, or you know whatnot, or uptrend. You go up, higher highs, higher lows, la di la di la di la, and then you get a move to the downside with a correction. This move down can easily be on a low amount of volume, but as a result, it can lead to something like this. When you're in a higher high, higher low situation, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, etc. Once you change the trend, right? The first move, a wave one, right? Wave three is most commonly the highest volume wave, not your wave one. Wave one, in the beginning, a wave one is generally seen as just another higher low and continuation. People act corrective. People probably trade it correctively. Volume is low. Move up. That's the most important one, right? It should be corrective, and then poof, and then comes the volume. So whenever you see a trend change, right, and volume is not too high, structure is more important than volume. Because the wave threes is where the volume is at. So I mean, let's go to let me show you an example. I mean, this is, let me turn this off. This is where the volume comes in. Look at the volume here, right? Not too much is happening. I mean, look even how it compares to the correction. You see this range? Look at the volume here. I mean, arguably, if you look at, you know, volume here is of course moving down, is something you like to see in a correction, but you look at the peaks, right? If you look at all the peaks here everywhere, you know, most of them are higher than what you had in this structure. But these are your ones. This is the start of your impulse. This is all corrective. You can see the volume in your ones here is very low. It's very low, right? Price has been correcting very long. Oh, we have a bit of a move up. Yep, we're still in the range, la-di-la-di-la, and then boom, right? People miss the move. But so don't get out positioned or faked out by the volume. Structure comes first, right? The move up in this case, right? And the move down. Structure comes first. 5 wave up, 3 wave down. 5 wave up, 3 wave down. 5 wave up, 3 wave down. Right? That's more interesting. I always prefer structure first and volume second. And then once we start, you know, once wave 3 starts, you'll know. You get this. Poof. Very typical. So, and that's the same on the lower time frames as well, right? So you don't need to start an impulse on high volume. Right? It comes later. Truncated 5. The top can be fine for 5 with a truncated 5. Are you talking low time frame, Dan? If you talk about this structure here, a truncated 5 is very rare, very, very rare. So it's never preferred unless other scenarios fail. Second, If this is a 2, you still actually want to have a wave 4 that is preferably similar size compared to 2 or longer, which you actually didn't have in this move up. So unless we end the correction here, we discussed this, I think, yesterday, right? Someone came up, WX and maybe a triangle in Y. Doesn't look great, right? Can't deny it doesn't look great. Counting a 1, 2 would make a bit more sense, but it's low time frame stuff, so there's always the if. But that's why we trade probabilities and not securities, because no one knows what's going to happen. We just know based on probabilities, it is more likely for X to happen compared to Y, right? Or for A compared to B or whatever. Scenario 1 compared to scenario 2. And in the end, that is what gives us a directional bias, which eventually helps in our trading. So, well, same feeling, zigzag of wave 4, yeah. Or the start of a bigger range, which would be something that I like to keep in mind. Yes, Tino. What's up, Jack Plays? How you doing? Loving the education. I'm glad you like it, man. That's also why I do the live streams. I love live streams. It's so much fun answering questions. And if like specifically education, this is the Linktree, by the way. Link is in the description. You can scroll down, go to educational content. The 2 most important videos on my channel are these 2. Then there's more educational content that is not necessarily Elliott Wave. Channel is Elliott Wave related though. But then I, of course, have the Elliott Waves playlist, which is this one here, which has been enjoyed by 43,161 people, or views. I mean, probably many people, watch all of the videos, or at least multiple. So it's not 43K people, but it's a lot of information is packed in these very short and very concise videos. Definitely recommend to take a look if you're interested in learning Elliott Waves, that is. How do we get the new version where it shows the diversion? You in Discord. So if you go to Discord, link is in the Linktree again. And then you go to the Good to Know channel. And then here's the Discord one-pager, or you can just download information. My video here, CVD video on YouTube. Here's the link, right? And then here is some CVDs. You click, and then here is the template, right? And I think this one is without the lines. For the templates with the lines, see this post. So it's all explained there. Bearish. Yeah. So a multi 1-2 is if this is a 1-2-1-2, it doesn't look good, right? Second wave 1 much longer than the first in time and price. Second wave 2 much longer in time and price. So definitely a very alternative scenario. Not the highest probability. No. And also with regards to a double zigzag WXY, wave X here already hit the 0.7. So that lowers probabilities for a double zigzag down. Where is it? So the 0.7 is touched. Reducing double zigzag probabilities. Of course, you can still have a diagonal for the bears, right? But low probabilities until you're here, right? So we need a lot more information before we really start to get interested in a diagonal. Yeah. So the moment you get a 3-wave zigzag off a high or a low, a diagonal. So first thing is you're going to think about. Wait, let me cover this. This is actually quite interesting theory. So a little bit bigger. Oops. So when you have this, and this is the straight lines are 5s, right? And this is your correction. So this is either going to be counted. So this is how probabilities change with new information coming in, right? Now, we don't have context here because on my chart, you cannot see what happened before. So of course, with regards to context, maybe probabilities are higher to look for an impulse, but forget about the context. We just have this 3-wave move. When you get this structure here, you don't know. You have a 5-wave up, a 3-wave down, and another 5-wave up. Wave 3 tends to have a higher amount of volume than 1, but wave Cs oftentimes have higher volume than your wave A as well, or have a high amount of volume in the tippy-toppy, right? Now, how do probabilities change? Okay. Now, a wave 3 generally extends to at least the 0.618 or beyond. So if price moves to a 618, generally you see a bit of a reaction at the 618. So you hit the 618, bit of a range. If price continues, probabilities are higher. You're looking at a 3. I'm from the Netherlands, living in France. I'm also French, but I grew up in the Netherlands. So you're looking for a 3. Right? If you retrace at the 1.618 or between the 1... No, okay. I don't want to cover... Yeah, I'm going to put them on the chart. So let me do this. 1.236. Up. Okay. Let me extend this one because this is like there's so much subtle thing. So if you move to the 1.618 and you reject, now this high, right? You start a retracement. What are we looking at? Wave 3 or C? Well, wave C can also move to a 1.618. Especially in crypto, it does tend to happen more often compared to maybe traditional markets. Right, common target for C, 1 to the 1.236, but the 1.618 is definitely a target for Cs as well. So the moment you start this retracement, you don't know. You are either looking here for a wave 4 and another 5, or your ABC is finished and you look for price to move down. How do we know? Right? How do we know? How do the probabilities increase or decrease for a wave 4 or ABC? That's where your 618 comes in. It depends on the move, but if the 618 is touched, wave 4 goes out the window. I don't use order flow nor footprint. I tried it back in the day. It doesn't improve my trading. Less is more for me. So, and then you talk about Elliott waves, lots of info, but you know what I mean. So touch the 618. Wave 4 out the window, probability is higher, you have an ABC to the upside. The moment you touch a 618 and your wave 4 is invalidated, your bullish scenario becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2. If this move up is significantly longer than your first move up, probabilities go down. Why? Preferably your second wave 1 is similar or shorter in time and price compared to your first wave 1. It's not a rule. It's more like a guideline, right? Because it's a lower degree 1, 2. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inside 3 you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Okay. So your bullish scenario becomes a double 1, 2 first, and if the double 1, 2, right, you get a move down, touch the 618. Right, this another zigzag down, touch the 618, and then you do this. The moment this happens, right, this is not a wave 4 anymore. So this low is either wave 2, right, a wave X. Because now you are looking at a double zigzag or wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's just low probabilities because your second wave 1 is very long, right? But you can still have the diagonal. And then you get 4, you get 5, retracement, continuation. So a diagonal, in other words, comes very late. It takes a long time before a diagonal becomes a high probability scenario. It doesn't make sense to be too early. Now, this is, of course, after we touch the 1.618. If price does this, and then starts retracing, this is your common target for a wave C. And now you can see that this structure is around the same size as this one, ending around at 1-to-1. So the moment you go down here, right, this first structure down is either going to be a wave 4, wave 2, or you just ended an ABC and this can go down, or WXY. It's up to the move down. Is this move down corrective or impulsive? If this structure down is corrective, right, flat, WXY, triangle, zigzag, well, triangle is not allowed in 2, but let's say corrective, then there's the potential for a wave 4 here, or another wave 2, and move up impulsively, or wave X, right? WXY, no? You can see how many options you have, but most important is higher probability this is corrective, increases probabilities for price to take the high. Once you take this high, you will know if you're going to look at a 5, you will look for a 3, or if you're looking for a wave Y. It's more that the directional bias is up. And that is what helps with finding entries in this area, right? Where target 1 is always, or at least not necessarily TP, but your target is always at least going to be taking out the high, right? Now, with regards to wave 4, if we want to count this structure down as a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, quite clearly, this is not allowed to overlap with this because wave 1 and wave 4 are not allowed to overlap. So the moment price here comes down a little bit further, overlaps with this high, we cannot count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't, right? The moment it does, we have to at least consider the potential of a diagonal. If this is impulse, correction, impulse, leading diagonal, right? Another 5, correction up. But by all means, you don't expect this low to be taken. You still expect price to take the high, which is your target. So you can see that trading-wise, it really doesn't fucking matter, right? You're looking for price to go uppy if this structure down is corrective. That's what's most important, right? You don't have to be correct with the count. You have to be correct with your direction. That's what you're trading, right? You need to know your invalidation, your minimum target, and there is the potential for continuation. Because if this does turn into a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? The only thing you know trading-wise, if you trade this, brush, if this is corrective, you're going to look for longs, higher probability. You can put your stop loss safely below your B, right? And then depending on more information here, you can slowly but surely decrease your stop loss because you get more information, you have more clarity about what's forming and how deep price is allowed to go, right? But let's play the fun and giggles, just safe below your B, you enter somewhere here, wherever, right? You look for price to move up. Do we know upfront what RR this is going to be? No, you don't. But you are part of the move, right? This move to the upside can be a 1R, 2R, it can be a 10R, right? That depends on how structure follows after we take out the high. Because as mentioned, oopsie daisy, if we have this on the chart and this move is corrective, we are either looking for W, X, and a Y, another ABC, double zigzag, right? We are either looking for a W, a deeper X, and then a, W, A, B, C, W, X, Y, W, X, A, B, C, D, E. That's also still possible. A sideways W, X, Y. You still take out the high. There's only, I'll get to that in a second, right? This is corrective, probability is higher to take the high. This is going to be an X. This is going to be a 2. This can be a 4 as long as you don't overlap this. This move up can be a wave Y, can be a wave 3, can be a wave 5. Now, what do you do? Well, that's why I also have target boxes on my chart, all of these things, because I know this, right? This here, as mentioned last week, I wasn't happy with this high. I didn't really have anything here. I know my boxes are well respected, so I would love to hit this. And we hit it, and we also rejected from it. So as price moves up, I'll be keeping an eye on my resistances and on the rejections and use those as potential TP areas. Now, if this is a wave Y, right, X, and we look for a Y, cool. Maybe a 1 to 2, 1 to 3R. If this is a wave 5, we go down, maybe 1 to 1, right? Depending on if you leave your stop loss here. If this turns into a wave 3, say hi to your 1 to 5, 1 to 10, right? 1 to a lot of R. Not to forget that as you get more information, thanks to the chart, you can adjust your stop loss, which therefore means you adjust your position size. If you risk 1% at the stoppie, right? And you put your stop loss below this low to begin with because you're playing it safe, right? You're a safe trader. I'm a safe trader. You get a corrective move down. It's confirmed locally that it's higher probabilities corrective. You're looking for a long. You enter a long. Stop loss is very long, right? So, of course, in the beginning, you don't know where your target is, but your stop loss is quite long. It's no problem. Wait for more information. Wait. Oh, we're getting a flat. Cool. After C, I look to add a little bit more, and I look to shorten my stop loss. And now my R increases, right? Because now I realized, we are forming a flat, right? If you get a triangle, cool. We're forming a triangle. Okay, I'll put my stop up. Enter a bit more so that my risk over here remains 1%. My R just increased. Right, so I prefer to start with a big stop loss, play it safe, get more information, compound as I get more information in the same direction. And then depending on what follows, depending on this move, I will manage my trade because we're either looking for a Y, we're looking for 3, we're looking for 5, right? Depending on what forms and depending on my resistance areas, I'll manage my trades and TP if necessary, right? So yeah, I guess that is a little bit of insight in how I approach the chart. You don't like stop loss. I'm not a sniper, I'd say. I am in shooters, but I don't tend to catch highs or lows. I only catch a high or a low if there is a clear impulsive structure. So, for example, I was in America here, so I didn't really see this. But if you get a nice, quite clear 5-wave structure with a high volume move in the middle, and then we start ranging, right? And we start ranging similar to the 2. That is when if we do, but just above, right? We range just above an area of support. I will be interested to long the support. Like counter trading an impulse is relatively easy as long as you don't get a bunch of 1-2s, because a lot of 1-2s means a lot of 4-5s, and then the end of an impulse becomes very, very messy. Think what happened here, right? Very, very messy price action as well. And also we had it. No, okay, never mind. So no, like if we got a clear move, a nice impulse, and we are reaching a support area, and above the support we start ranging significantly for a wave 4 compared to 2, then I will be inclined to enter around that support area that I have in this example, which would be my type of snipe a high or a low. That's how I would do it. But I think that most of my trades are after a high or a low is formed. So yeah, just wait for a bit more probabilities. But that is how I approach my catch the low. Daryl, by the way, thanks for the $2, yo. Very kind. Cheers. Can I like this or something? What's this? Oh, yo, thanks for the $2, mate. I gotta pick up the pace here, go through the questions, and call it a stream, no? So I answered this. I know harmonics aren't your thing, but could you give me advice on them? Where do I begin to pull them? If not appropriate for the stream, I understand. As elementary, are harmonics as elementary Elliott waves? So harmonics can be... Okay, so how am I gonna... I don't want to make it too long, but so first of all, I don't know too much about harmonics. I've never studied them. I've seen the picture once, and I know, I don't know if it's the garlic, the 618, 618, 786, that one. The ones that know about harmonics will know which one I talk about. I always forget the name. It's not the butterfly or whatever. But Elliott waves is incredibly complex. So when you're starting, harmonics might help you with Elliott waves as well, because harmonics, of course, follow a certain structure in price, right? With the highs and the lows, and take a high or take a low, common retracement targets. But once you know Elliott waves, you don't really need to know harmonics, in my opinion, because harmonics is just another way of counting the waves. It might maybe complement each other, but I have not experienced benefits with harmonics. But by the time I learned about harmonics and that they exist, I was already doing Elliott wave stuff. So I never really got into harmonics, because I looked at harmonics. I was like, well, that's just Elliott waves, but you just take a little piece of a chart, and you, instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, I mean, harmonics is also with letters. Yeah, it's just a different way of counting waves, but I prefer Elliott waves. Yeah, I don't know. This is not a good answer. You don't need it. If you learn Elliott waves, you don't need harmonics. But why not have it in your bag? If you know about harmonics, then you have an edge over people that don't, which is good. So you can learn any other thing in addition to Elliott waves and gun, Elliott waves and harmonics, Elliott waves and distribution patterns, Elliott waves and, other stuff. In my case, Elliott waves with other confluences that I always show in my videos. So it can help, but yeah, I don't use harmonics myself. But that's personal choice, of course. Pleasure, BTC Boss. What's up, Daryl? Again, thanks for the 2, man. Theory of alternation, we're doing in time. How often does the opposite happen? Well, if a wave 2 is very long compared to wave 1, you got to be aware of wave 4 being shorter. So if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this is your wave 1. And then you get a wave 2. And imagine this wave 2 is just, it's taking it, whoop, whatever, right? This wave 2 now is a WXY, right? Long sideways wave 2. And then you move up, you get your 3, price moves beyond the 1.618 extension, etc. And you start your wave 4. Because your wave 2 is long and sideways, you got to be aware that your wave 4 is going to be short and deep before continuation in a 5. So it's your wave 2 then compared to your wave 1. Wave 2 being a zigzag, then generally, right, zigzag, short and deep. Wave 4, higher chance of being sideways. But if a wave 2 is very sideways and long and more shallow, then you got to be aware of a wave 4 that is deep. Yeah, it's good to be aware of it, right? Also, I think that, I don't know, I think based on the data of Swanel, I think there's still like over a 50% chance that if wave 2 is sideways, wave 4 is also still sideways. So generally 4s are sideways. But if 2 is sideways, shallow, takes a long amount of time, be aware your 4 can be short and deep. And then 2 compared to 1 being long, right? in just 15 minutes, the swing low hit the 886. Yes, the 886 here locally was touched in the local move down, which would also be nice to continue this range a little bit longer, as explained earlier in the stream and also posted in silver this afternoon, to extend the correction in time and count this as a corrective move up. So still have a bigger corrective structure. We just hit some resistance as well. So the point of controls here. Some new resistance besides the box we already had. Deciding between Belgium, Netherlands. I mean, so I was on the Camel Straight in Spa, and in Zandvoort I was in the arena section where you have the back straight, then you have the sharp right into a 180-degree hairpin left before the final turn. You know which one I'm talking about? And we were basically in the middle of the corner. So in the middle of the stadium section, you turn right, and then you have the hairpin, basically. That's where we were. It's awesome. There's so much activity. The organizers, the promoters really they have stuff going on the circuit all the time. Motorbikes, drift cars, the whole music, DJ. There's a lot happening there. Ruse, where did you learn and how long did it take you for you to learn Elliott waves when you were super confident in your analysis? 2 years with regards to the second question. 1.5 years I started to be confident. Like I knew I was really getting somewhere, but after 2 years, that's where that was where I really, I don't want to be too put feathers in my own bum, but that is where I felt I was really good compared to what I saw other places. So that you compare yourself in the beginning, you share a lot of stuff in communities and la-di-la-di-la, and eventually you can see yourself grow and you learn all the rules and stuff by heart. So you also feel your knowledge increasing, not by looking elsewhere, but also yourself. Like, you know all the rules and guidelines by heart, right? It becomes easier to identify waves. You know better what to look for. Your probabilities play out more often, but directional bias. So it took me 2 years, let's say, to be very confident. And I learned it myself. I still have all my notebooks. So COVID hit, and I was a and still am a professional speaker, but global keynote speaker. But during COVID, of course, everything got canceled, so I had time on my hands, and I did more stuff than speaking, other businesses that I had. But that was the thing that I did often. I had time, got into the markets because of a television opportunity as a host. So I became a host, learned about the markets, got in touch with the chart. After 1 month, got in touch with Elliott waves, never went back. And then I learned it by reading the book, Elliott Wave Principle, the website that I link in the LINKTREE, which I think is incredible, this one. No, it's not 100% complete, but there's a lot of information here, and definitely if you are starting, you don't need more than what you see here. So this is a great website. So it's in the LINKTREE, so it's right there. I'm not affiliated. It's free. It's public. It's not my website. But that one is good. And then I just made notes. Write everything down, draw the structures, and implement it on many different charts. Sometimes I still find very old analysis when we open like a random altcoin. I can see my analysis from years ago. Cheers, Tino. I'm from the Netherlands. Question: If I daily average spot Bitcoin because of the USA Bitcoin reserve work through the bull cycle. It has a bit of a fundamental twist to it because of the USA Bitcoin reserve. And I don't know anything about fundamentals, unfortunately, or for me, I guess, fortunately, it's not my cup of tea. So I don't know anything fundamental. I don't know what's happening I know with regards to Bitcoin in the world of politics and US, I hear some things because of the community and other people, but I don't know anything about the Bitcoin reserve. And, I know about news. I keep an eye on the news, right? These ones and ETF. When the ETF launched, when Trump became president, those are things that are marked. But I don't know what a USA Bitcoin reserve would do with bull cycle, bear market. Maybe there's someone fundamental here that knows more about it. If I daily average spot Bitcoin, would it work through the bull cycle? So far, the move since all-time high is still a higher probability corrective structure. There's, on a daily, this is a higher probability corrective structure at the moment, which increases probabilities to at a later stage still take out all-time highs. So, no financial advice, you know how it goes. But by all means, those are your higher time frame probabilities. And it doesn't mean, right, you still have the WXY potential. If you take 95, that one goes, becomes very low probability. And from a swing perspective, if we get a 5 up and a 3 down, that's my interest spot. But still, even in a WXY, you can still go a little bit lower. We have some interesting supports, but you still expect price to continue up later and take out that high on the higher time frame. So yeah, but that's of course pure technical. I'm a pure technical analyst. I don't know anything about fundamentals. Do you use order flow and footprint for Bitcoin? No. 618 touch on log chart or regular chart? Regular. Low time frame, always regular. Only if you analyze a piece of a chart that has moved a significant percentage. So in an uptrend, over 100% minimum. In a downtrend, look for at least 40, 50%. That is where log really becomes important to analyze the chart. Got to wrap it up with regards to this question. I'm already ending here. Can we have a 3-wave structure in wave 1 or 3 or 5 in an impulse? No. Wave 1, 3, and 5 have to be an impulse in an impulse, right? That's the question. In an impulse, your wave 1, 3, and 5 have to be a 5-wave structure. In a diagonal, like a leading diagonal, your 1, 3, and 5... you're in an ending diagonal, your 1, 3, 5 can be zigzags. Zigzag family structures. But that's only allowed in an ending and a leading diagonal. What the hell? Well, why do I had to think about that? So a leading diagonal can be impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. But a leading diagonal can also be zigzags in all 5 waves. Ending diagonal can only be zigzags in every wave. But if you talk about an impulse, always 1, 3, and 5 are 5-wave structures. What's up, obese balls man? Been a while. Good to have you here. How you doing? Welcome back from work. Matias from Argentina. The beginning of the stream. Yeah, it's ending soon. Nick Roney, thanks, man. You mentioned earlier in the stream access to where can I find the link? You can go to the LINKTREE link in the description. We use the LINKTREE link because else I have so many links in the description, it becomes messy. But you just open the LINKTREE in the description and you go to Koen's live chart. And when you click here, it opens my my chart, this one. And you see what I see now, basically. You have a video that explains all of these possible structure scenarios? No. I mean, I of course have the playlist. Is it this one? No. Here. I have the Elliott wave, all the theory, like this playlist. But I don't have a video that goes into how probabilities and everything change as information comes in and how to approach it from a trading perspective. But that is something I aim to work on later this year because we are creating a platform in the background, or at least the plan is to start a platform in the background. So that's stuff that comes hopefully at a later stage. But that starts to be advanced Elliott waves, right? Like that's really where many different things come into play, and then you have the trading and the trade management part as well. But yeah, it's going to be It's going to come. Thank you, obese boss. Cheers, Versin. Well, there you go. Your promise at the beginning of the stream, or your hope at the beginning of the stream, has been was correct. Like, your question has been answered. You Sport, welcome, man. I emailed you back, man. By the way, I sent you an email back. B channel, how you doing? Moin moin. Good to have you here. Do you have a scenario where liquidity is gathered from 68.5 as a stop loss hunt? Yes, WXY double zigzag. Currently still working on a wave X, looking for Y to the downside still. So yes, I do have a scenario like that in my folders. What's up, Shirley? How you doing? Good to see you pop in as well. It's been a while. Welcome. Tino, because I have noticed compared to the others. Priority depends, I suppose, on the person using it. So the reason why yellow is the buy bit, even though I trade on Blowfin, is, and the blue one is aggregated. But the reason I still use it is because when I started back in the day, I started on Bybit. But when I left Bybit, I got so used to the Bybit CVD. Every CVD line moves different. And I got used to reading the Bybit CVD and the aggregated one. So I never changed it because it's still the two main CVDs I use, and they both work incredibly well in my way of trading. And of course, I have a lot of experience with CVD. So for me, both of the lines have a very high priority. They're both equal to me. It's CVD in combination with the context and the waves. Do you think it's possible to count the whole move down as an impulse with the overlap in a triangle? WXY. Yes, okay. WXYXZ is of course very rare. So then I would prefer, this one would have a higher probability over this one, right? If X is a triangle and then another ABC, if that is your, I'm just checking, this is the 6-hour time frame. Interesting. Then you start your, so this is your last, that's your ABC. B starts to be very long now, right? So you definitely need to turn around for your B. You don't want to see it go to a 5 or 6. Lowest probability, so that would be Friday. So preferably you would then finish B before the 5. If you make another high, wherever that high is once we hit the 5, if you make another high somewhere here after or on the 5, probabilities go down for an ABC. But theoretically, yes, that can work. W, if this is your X, X is, how long is X compared to your W though? Ooh, wave X is short though. X is shorter than the 0.382 compared to your W, right? If this is your X, right? So that lowers probabilities that this is the end of an X and this already is your Y. So it's of course, it's a probabilities thing. So it's a nice idea. Keep an eye on the 5-fib time. And of course, probabilities aren't as great due to wave X being relatively short. Right? It's finishing before the 382. Nice idea, though. It's very original. Haven't seen it. What's up, Ben? Ben Positive. Thanks for popping in still, yo. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully, you're enjoying yourself, learning a thing or two. Yes, needs... whoops. Can we have a short and more sideways wave 2 and equally a short and sideways wave 4 with a very big in 3 and 5? If wave 3 is really extended, like very big, then your wave 4 most commonly will be long to compensate for the length of your 3, right? But if you have a short and more sideways 2, an equally short and sideways 4, big extent, yeah, yeah, it's lower probabilities. I mean, it can happen, right? There's no rule that says 2, 4 can't be short both. But probability wise, if 2 is sideways short, then wave 4 tends to be deep long, right? Or it's the rule of alternation, so I just switch them around. Or sideways long. If 2 is short, 4 long. If 3 is very extended, 4 higher probability to be long. Yeah. What are the probabilities? Impulse up 100K for like that, those would be high. Because if we are looking here, so this is, he talks about this scenario. So if you're looking for a multi 1-2, we actually, like, it doesn't feel too 3-ish unless you get 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bigger 5 here, and then get 4, 5, 4, 5. But you will have 3, 4, 5s to match your 2s here. So the probabilities would be high to, if you get the 3, preferably with a high amount of volume. I mean, little volume peak, but nothing significant. We actually want to see volume increase in a 3, which so far didn't really happen. So if you're looking for the bulls, then yeah, 100K would definitely be on the cards. It's just that where is the oomph? You know what I mean? Cheers, Abdullah. Feathers in the bum took a turn. By the way, Odin, we're going to be in South Africa again. Probably, it's not yet booked, but probably around the end of May, start of June. So if you're available, let me know. Yeah. I haven't booked anything yet, but we're looking to go to South Africa around that time. If we consider the top we have seen since September 17 as wave 1 coming in major wave 5, then a correction that is now forming can also be considered a wave 2. That is correct. That is correct. Is well loved by the drivers, supposed to be in Europe. Redealing curve in spots, challenging and exciting. Yeah, it's a beautiful track. I always love driving it on the sim. It's probably the track I played the most. What do you think about the next 2-3 hours? Bullish or bearish? These are always very tricky questions because it's like, what's the chance of bull and bear? But if you go to my explanation earlier in today's video, then this has a higher probability. So a continuation of the range, right? Which can still be a flat as well. But a continuation of the range to at least finish after the 1-to-1. And the 1-to-1 fib time taken from the start of 2 to the end of 2 to the end of 3. And if people do not know what I talk about, then I do whoop, 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 whoop. Most commonly 4 is similar in size to 2 or ends after the 1-to-1 here. This low is made before. So therefore you preferably still look for a bigger range. And that's, you know, as much as I can say. It's all probabilities. Why you only trade Bitcoin and not stocks? I for me, less is more. It's really something I do. And also, it's the second time I read this book, Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less. This is a great book. Less is more in that book. Less is better. And I really just like to focus on one thing and do that very well instead of having a lot of different stuff going on and not so well. However, that's trading, by the way. However, this is actually something I wanted to talk about yesterday. I am currently considering strongly, and the longer I think about this, the more interesting it becomes because of all the questions I get, like the stocks as well. But this is a trade question, not an analysis question. I also prefer crypto just because it's, when I got in the markets as a trader, crypto was the first thing. Bitcoin was and Ethereum were the first two. So I kind of got stuck in that industry. But I get lots of questions about alts and can I do alts, Solana and all that. And I have a whole list of alts, right? Like I got, and yeah, I mean, it only gets longer because people mention new and new things. But what I'm considering to do is, and you may already notice, if Bitcoin is not doing a lot, I tend to not really upload a new video because I'm just repeating myself. I prefer to go live like today and answer some questions, talk about a little bit of new stuff, and then just answer questions, education. But what I'm considering as well is if Bitcoin is not doing much, it's not too interesting, nothing really changed, I'm considering to also put out altcoin videos where I analyze a 1 hour time frame, a 4 hour time frame. I put a video online and we'll do whatever, right? I also have some stocks in here, by the way, but yeah. And then I upload that. So I look at charts that are interesting from an Elliott wave point of view. I'll have a look. Yeah, I go through my list and I'm like, okay, today, this one looks interesting. I'll make a video. And then instead of a Bitcoin video every day, where sometimes I just repeat myself as not too much happens, I can do alts. And when Bitcoin does something, I'll do a Bitcoin video. Plus, live streams are generally Bitcoin focused. So even if I put out a altcoin video in the morning, I can go live in the afternoon, analyze Bitcoin still in the first like half of the live stream, and then the chat and Q&A after. So it's still Bitcoin as well, but we'll mix up with more alts. Because eventually, the beginning of the channel, I uploaded 3 times a day, which is a lot. And I try to have as much variety as possible. Like, I'll talk about the 1 hour in the morning, and in the afternoon about maybe the 4, and then the evening, the weekly. But eventually, if Bitcoin is doing nada, then you're just listening to the same shit, different upload. Nowadays, of course, that happens a lot less because I also upload twice a day, mostly. But now I'm, I want to upload twice a day. But if Bitcoin doesn't do shit, then I'm like, well, you can just check out the previous video. Nothing changed. So I can better maybe put an alt video online where there is some opportunity and some new information or whatever. Upload that, and then maybe a live stream in the afternoon covering some Bitcoin or education, or maybe no live stream and do a few in a week. But you get the idea. So I'm really considering to switching things up a little bit. And just experiment, because I get a lot of questions about alts. People see me do Bitcoin analysis and they're like, yo, you do the same on alts? And I'm like, yeah, I can do the same on alts. It's so overlapped. Yeah, on ETH, I had the WXY. So, but yeah, I can't. I think I already said I was planning to go half an hour ago. Here I still am. I love live streams too much, but still on. Oops, was it the daily? Was it the weekly? Where's my WXY? So this one is interesting, no? So this is the one that we had on the chart for a while. I haven't actually been to this chart for a very long time, but yeah, makes sense. It's still a higher probability move. So took out the high. Did we actually take out the higher high? We did retrace enough for yeah, we did. And then look for an impulsive structure down. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Maybe a little bit lower. Don't know what we have support. Oh, we are at support now. Okay, that's cool. Wow, I really need to update my chart. Yeah, we hit the weekly. That's nice. Rejection. Now we're at support here. So let's make this wide. And below this, we have another weekly. We have range point of controls. This would be very interesting. Very interesting support here. Yeah, so I would actually like to see a little bit lower on ETH. Yeah. And if you move up to 2.8K, then you would think this low would be in at least the probabilities change for the bulls. Not at the moment though. High volume in the last moves down, so Sharpie. But yeah, I mean, that stuff, like if I would do alt videos, I can do ETH, Solana, Pepe, BNB. And also, if you do not know the coin and there is some opportunity or a great trading opportunity, I will find it like from an Elliott wave point of view when I go through those charts. So, but yeah, I can't. I can't go through the alts now. Why can't I scroll? Okay, there we go. Pleasure, you sport. Thanks for writing me as well. Yeah, happy to hear this, man. Guard, welcome. We covered that one. Guard, appreciate all. I pressed the CVD link. It says I don't have access. It's free. Wait, that should be the Discord link. No, you have access. The CVD link is public. That's interesting. If the CVD link doesn't work, just go to Discord here. I don't know why it doesn't work for some people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we have to keep it, maybe we have to test this with the mods. I don't know. I think the people that are already in Discord, it will work for sure. Or if your account is younger than 1 day, you might be auto-banned because we have a scam protection in the group. Yeah. I hadn't joined the Discord. No. And is your Discord account older than 24 hours? In this cycle, what wave is Bitcoin on? Wait, someone asked about a monthly time frame analysis. I recommend watching this. Same actually goes with this question. Let me go here. Let me go to here. There you go. Bitcoin cycle and macro. Check out the last video here. 11 minutes. That's for the high time frame questions, I suppose. Start of June. Gotcha. Validation for this impulse, which you got showed. In a multi 1-2, you don't want to change the structure. So in this case, you don't want price to move below this 2. At the moment, a flat is not out of the question, but because this here is a higher probability corrective structure, if you look for a flat, you look for first another high and then a low. I don't know. At the moment, this is like my invalidation here, that low. Like you just want to keep up the structure, right? Bullish structure. That answer is yes, of course. That's the question I saw. Yeah. Can you please show your parallel channels? Are we no longer expecting the extension in 5? Oh, wait. Are you talking about the daily? Probabilities, of course, increase. This is a finished structure. Ooh, I haven't looked at this for a very long time. I don't even think I have the channels on the daily. I only have weekly channels here. Base channel, which is still okay. So the base channel is still fine on the weekly. Trend channel broken. But yeah, I don't know. It's been broken twice now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then finish 5. So of course, bear market wise, this would be an end of a 5. We also have bullish scenarios on the weekly, but yeah, that's for another stream though. I got to get my ass off this PC. Check out the high time frame video. It's not bad that you say the same shit again. It's good for us. I guess in a way that is true. Some ETH analysis. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what's your username in Discord? Because I can go to the ban list. If your account is younger than 1 day and you try to join Discord, it doesn't work. It will auto ban you because of scam protection. They make brand new accounts and join all the crypto Discords. But then I just have to get you out of the ban list. After I joined the Discord, it worked. Okay, I see. To import the template, but thank you. Thank you for the support, Guard. I appreciate the registration here. And with regards to import, if you have questions, just tag me in Discord or one of the mods or the team, and or people in general in the groups. Everyone's happy to help. Happy to help. Matchy HK. Indeed, literally, this is no joke. I'm gonna end it. I've been online. I said like 40 minutes ago, I was like, yo guys, I gotta end the stream, Yeah, I have to end the stream. Sorry for that, Matchy. Same shit, different day, eh? This guy. But yeah, with regards to, of course, the CVD template, go to the AGGR. It's in the Discord Good to Know channel. I wrote the steps as well. So, but if you have additional questions, ask us. But yo, I gotta go. Answered all the questions. We got to the bottom of the chat. That's good. And every time Match HK joins, you know that it's the end of the stream and it's time to go. So sarcasm. So thanks for popping in. Thanks for being here. And we covered mainly the low time frame, 50-minute time frame, and lots of questions and education in this live stream. And yeah, let me know in the comment section if you have any other questions, or in Discord or anywhere else. And then let's see what we get overnight and where we are tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Catch you at the next one.